Hello everyone, my name is Ritesh and today we'll discuss current affairs topic, and today's topic is marital rape, right? So first, you must have heard this news, even read somewhere in your newspaper or in your editorial about this marital rape thing, right? So we'll discuss the whole issue here, right? First, I'd like to start with what I will discuss in this whole lecture, right? So first we will start with why this particular thing was recently in news. Then we'll discuss the key points related to marital rape and what are the changes that people want to inhibit in these kind of things, right? Because marital rape is also also a kind of crime, right? So what kind of change they want to implement in these kind of things. Then we'll discuss whereabouts and background of marital rape, right? Where it comes from, how it grows, right? And which country are there which actually prohibit such kind of things, which have provisions related to marital rape and all, right? So we'll discuss that too. Then we'll draw issues about marital rape, right? What are the issues that occur behind this whole concept, right? What are the issues behind this? Then we'll discuss the J.S. Verma committee report, right? There was a committee report called J.S. Verma committee, right? This committee actually suggests so many things related to marital rape and the harassment related to women. So we'll discuss this thing because it is very important if we are considering marital rape as a topic, and from your examination point of view as well. This is very important, right? And in last, we will take government stand. We will discuss the government stand about this whole marital rape thing, and it will obviously it will be related to your issues and all. And in last, we'll discuss the government stand of the whole topic, what government think about the marital rape and whether they want to implement some changes or not, right? And what are the reasons behind that. So we'll discuss that thing too, right? So let us start with the topic first, right? And so first, that's all about the overview of this whole topic, right? So let us start with this topic first. So first, we'll discuss why this particular thing was in news, right? So recently, a batch of petitions seeking criminalization of marital rape has been filed in Delhi High Court, right? So there was petitions, there are lots of petitions filed in Delhi High Court, right? So it was filed in Delhi High Court about the criminalization of marital rape. So petitioners seek to actually criminalize the marital rape thing, and they have filed petition in Delhi High Court about the same, right? So, and Union government, after this petition has been filed in Delhi High Court, Union government has replied that with they are saying that it is considering a constructive approach, right? So the petitioner wants to criminalize the whole marital rape thing, and Union government is saying that okay, these things are very constructive. We are considering this, and these all things are a very constructive approach towards having such kind of a thing, right? So they are relying on constructive approach about the issue. Then what are the petitions relate to, right? Petitioner wants to criminalize marital rape, but let us discuss the section which revolves around the same, right? So the petition seeks to amend the criminal law, right, which includes section 375, which is related to rape, right, of the IPC, right? So the petitioners seek to actually criminalize the marital rape thing, and they actually want to amend section 375, which is which includes rape of the IPC, right? So section 375 of IPC is important for you, right? Then let's discuss about the key points with related to this topic, with related to the marital rape thing, right? So as per UN Population Fund, so more than 2/3 of married women in India, which approximately aged from 15 to 49 years of age, have been beaten, forced to provide sex. Right. So this is actually data, and this is as per the UN Population Fund, and they said that more than 2/3 of the women in India aged between 15 to 49 years, they have been beaten and forced to provide sex. It means they have been victimized over this process, right? So marital rape is actually happening in everywhere around the world, and these data prove these kind of things. More than 2/3 of women are actually victim of these kind of cases right now, right? Even as per International Men and Gender Equality Survey in 2011, 1 in every 5 men has forced his partner to have sex, right? So again, this becomes a very serious issue, right? I have quoted UN Population Fund. Then there's also a report and survey related to that about International Men and Gender Equality Survey, right? And in 2011, it was the case that 1 in every 5 men forced his partner to have sex, right? Again, this becomes a very serious issue, and that is why people are demanding, petitioners are filing petitions regarding the criminalization of marital rape. And I also want to quote something that there are so many countries that actually does that. Right, so there are countries which criminalize marital rape, right? So India as a country also should think about the same in a very reasonable way, so that no parties will exploit this particular thing, this particular provisions overall, right? Then third point is over 104 countries have criminalized marital sex, right? So there are over 104 countries which actually have criminalized marital sex issue, right? So India as a country should also think about the same from these data also, right? Then India, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan and China are the countries who haven't done anything about the criminalization of marital rape, right? So from these points we can deduce that there are so many statistics, there are so many data that prove that yes, marital rape are happening in not just our country but globally, right? And because these are happening, so there are so many countries, like I've said, over 104 countries have done something about the same. So why these countries, especially India, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan and China, are not doing anything about the same, right? They should also think about these issues and do something to implement such thing in the Indian Penal Code Act itself, right? Indian Penal Code itself. So these are the key points with the related. These are not just the key point but also the data which actually back the criminalization of marital rape issue, right? These data shows us that yes, we have genuine reasons to criminalize marital rape because there's so many survey and data which prove this issue, right? So that's all about the key points. Then let us discuss about the marital rape and the historical background of the same. Right? So the grounds for marital immunity for rape prosecution have emerged from the patriarchal discourse in society. Obviously, these kind of things, these grounds of marital immunity, right? Marital immunity is one such kind of thing in which the partners have immunity over the other, right? So these grounds for marital immunity for especially rape prosecution, these things emerged from a patriarchal discourse in society, right? Because we have as India as a country, if you consider, we have patriarchal society, right? So these grounds of patriarchal immunity in IPC even itself, even section 375, or even if you consider Indian Penal Code itself, these marital immunity comes from the society itself, right? Because we have a patriarchal society. So this is one such reason about the same, right? Next is, now what is marital immunity? Obviously you should know about the same too, right? So according to the marital immunity, a husband cannot be guilty of a rape committed upon his lawful wife because she has given up herself in this kind to her husband by their mutual matrimonial consent and contract, which she cannot retract under the marriage, right? So marital immunity talks about the thing that, okay, the wife has actually given up herself for husband basically, right? And this comes from their mutual matrimonial consent and contract, right? And she cannot retract from this if she is in marriage, right? Oh, obviously if you are divorced for something, you can obviously file such kind of thing because you are not legally married then, right? But if you are legally married, marital immunity is one such kind of thing which provides immunity to the partners, right? And this is not very good for our society too, right? So this is actually what marital immunity meant, right? Next, again, like I've said, over 104 countries have actually criminalized marital rape, right? One such country is Australia, and Australia was the first common law country to pass these kind of reforms in 1976 again. So this is again very important for you as an examination point of view. Why? Again, why? Because Australia is the first country. Every now and then I've said that if there's something only, first, last, right? These kind of things are important. So in this topic, Australia is important as a country because it is the first country to pass such reforms in 1976. So here you just have to remember this country's name and the year in which these reforms have been passed, right? And also the reforms which we are talking about, marital sex, right? Yeah. So now let's talk about marital rape exception, right? And which has been provided under section 375 of the Indian Penal Code. Now let's talk about marital rape exception. So as per section 375 of the Indian Penal Code, right, marital rape exception means it actually exempts forceful sexual intercourse by a man with his own wife from the offense of rape, provided the wife is above 15 years of age, also known as the marital rape exception, right? So section 375 provides exemption of forceful sexual intercourse by a man with his own wife, right? Provided the age must be above 15 years of age. So there are 2-3 points that you need to understand here from in marital rape exception. First is that there's an exception to this, right? Exception to the marital sex. Then second is the wife must be above 15 years of age, right? So this is also important. If you if a question comes to you regarding this, then age factor is also very important, because above 15 years of age is being mentioned in section 375, right? So 15 years of age, you have to remember. So this was all about the marital rape and the background of basically and the provisions related to the marital rape, right, which is section 375 again. Now let's talk about the issues, and then we will come back to the JS VERMA committee about the same, right? Those issues have been solved by some kind of report and some committees, right? So first let's talk about the issues which we are. First one is, it is against basic rights of women. Obviously the marital rape exception is against the basic right of women. How? Because it actually violates the right of women, right? She cannot be raped even under marriage itself, right? Marriage does not mean that she provided her body to her husband unconditionally. No, marriage is not such kind of thing. So these exceptions should not be there. These kind of things eventually happen with consent, and if there is no consent, these things must not be happen, right? So first issue is that this exception, which is marital rape exception, which comes under the section 375, is against the basic rights of women, right? Now second one is the dismal state of judicial system. Now what does it mean? So again, if we consider rape cases and all cases related to sexual violence of women or even harassment of women, right? So if you consider these cases factually, data wise, So these cases, firstly, these cases won't come to the judicial system itself, right? So women don't want to go to these courts to just prosecute their husbands about these issues, because why? Again, society can play a big role in this. Society just push women back from these kind of things. Why? Again, because of the patriarchal society we live in, right? So women don't use such kind of things very wisely, right? These kinds of things happen eventually, but it won't be noted in the judicial system itself, right? These cases doesn't come very naturally to the court. Very rarely some women came up front and go to the court behind these kind of, against their husbands and all, again because of the patriarchal society, right? Third one is that there was a Justice J.S. Verma committee recommendation, right? And this committee, which is Justice J.S. Verma committee, was constituted after the Nirbhaya gang rape in 2012. So after the Nirbhaya gang rape case, which happened in 2012, this committee has been formed, and this committee has actually recommended some various very logical things about the changes which should happen in the marital rape thing, right? While some of its recommendations helped shape the Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013, its most radical suggestions, including on marital rape, were swept under the carpet. Again, like I've said, Justice J.S. Verma committee recommended so many things about the criminal law. Basically, some of the things were taken under the Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013, but the recommendations related to the marital rape thing were swept under the carpet. They just they haven't amended the whole marital rape thing. They haven't implemented the recommendations that was provided by Justice J.S. Verma committee, right? So this again becomes a very serious issue, that there was a committee which actually talks about the issues related to marital rape, and still the government, the authorities haven't done anything about the same, about this whole issue, right? So these are the issues which is related to the marital rape, right? Now, next is again Justice J.S. Verma committee. Now I have talked about Justice J.S. Verma committee recommendations, and just about that they have not been implemented, right? They have not been amended. Marital rape have not been amended after this recommendation. Now, what are the recommendations we need to understand, right? First, Justice J.S. Verma committee recommended that rape and sexual assault, according to the committee, are not just crimes of passion, but also an expression of power, right? So first is very simple. Justice J.S. Verma committee talks about the issue of marital rape, and they said that okay, rape and sexual assaults are the things that they're not just crimes of passion. These are also expression of power, in which one person dominates over the other person, right? So if we talk about the marital rape thing, husband dominates over the wife body so that he can do whatever he wants to, right? And this is actually very bad. Without her consent, how can you do that, right? So this committee termed these kind of things as also an expression of power, right? So this is important, just for an understanding point of view. Then the exception for marital rape should be deleted according to the committee. Why? Because marriage should not be viewed as a binding agreement to engage in sexual behaviors, right? So see, one component of marriage is this, but it's not solely dependent on sexual behaviors, right? Marriage is not solely dependent on sexual behavior and sexual satisfaction that you're deriving from, right? So the committee recommended that the exception which is being provided under section 375 of marital rape, right, under rape, should be deleted completely. And the reason behind this is that the marriage is not solely there to engage everyone here for just sexual behavior, right? So this was again the viewpoint of the J.S. Verma committee, right? Next one is the committee proposes that the use of words, acts or gestures that generate an unwanted sexual threat to be classified as sexual assault and punishable by a year in prison, a fine, or both. Again, now committee have deleted, recommended to delete the exception for of marital rape, right? Then they also talk about the use of words, acts, or even gestures that actually generates an unwanted sexual threat, right? These kind of things are also harmful to the woman, right? You can't use such kind of words, you can't act or do with gestures that generate an unwanted sexual threat to the woman, right? And that is why this committee classified these kind of things as sexual assault, and they actually give a practical punishment of the same, right? So these kind of things we cover in Justice J.S. Verma committee. So you have to remember this committee report recommendations, right? You will get these things in your comprehension itself, right? Then see, the committee report name is very important. Obviously you will remember that, okay, this committee prohibits such kind of things. This committee recommended that deletion of section 3 exception to marital rape. But what is the committee's report? Its name is important, right? And the year itself, after the Nirbhaya gang rape case, it was constituted, right? Then lastly, on this topic, we have to consider the government stand over the whole topic, right? So again, so in conclusion, we can derive that, okay, petitions have been filed in Delhi High Court about the criminalization of marital rape, but we haven't seen anything progress regarding the same. And then we have concluded with J.S. Verma committee recommendations that they have given such a tremendous recommendations about the change in marital rape. But why government does not implement such kind of things? So here's the reason, here's the stand of government why they are not doing the same. So up till now, the government has said on multiple occasions that criminalizing marital rape will threaten the institution of marriage and will also impede the right to privacy. So government stand is that if we criminalize the marital rape thing, it will actually threaten the institution of marriage and will also impede the right to privacy. So basically they are saying that by criminalizing marital rape, we will threaten the institution of marriage itself. Right. So this again is a very vague statement. How are you threatening the institution of marriage by actually providing negative things to the same, right? You don't have to save something if the thing itself is very negative, right? You can't derive powers to do such negative acts, right? So again, this is very illogical from government's view. Then second one is, government says that misuse of legal provisions, right? So this one is pretty much logical from government point of view. Why? Because they have said that if we criminalize such kind of things, then it will become an easy tool for harassing husbands, right? So again, this stand comes from the practical experience of government actually. So they said that, okay, by criminalizing such kind of things, it becomes an easy tool for harassing such kind of people, right? Women can easily harass husbands by using these kind of by actually misusing these kind of legal provisions. So these are the government stand about the whole topic, right? So again, if we summarize the whole topic, what you need to remember from an examination point of view is, first one is that the marital rape thing, why, in which section they want to amend. So section 370, in this slide, section 375 is important, right? Then if we consider key points, you have to remember India, Saudi Arabia and Pakistan and China are the countries who haven't done anything regarding the marital rape exception thing, and there are over 104 countries which criminalize marital sex. Then if you talk about the background of marital rape, then you need to remember the first common law country who does these kind of things, and the exception itself, what it means and what it provides, right? Then the issues, in issues you only have to remember the Justice J.S. Verma committee recommendation which formed after the Nirbhaya gang rape case, right? So, and what are the recommendations that they provide, you need to remember. and then the government stand, which is basically for you to understand the whole topic, right? So that's all about the topic of marital rape, right? So thank you so much.